The first question is the average on-farm R&D spend is £1. I would say it's probably always the average, it's always slightly more than £1, but there we go. How can farms adopt disruptive innovation in an environment which can't adapt at pace? Interesting question.
Yeah, farm R&D spend, yes. Well, I think it's a difficult one to answer in a way. The farm, to try and do it on your own, you can be, like I say, John Spill built his own first aeroponic system with his wife and his son, and it cost £850. He did it in 2 weeks, so minimum budget, but it is risky. Everyone will say, the experts, it can't be done, you'll get disease, fungus. I think you really need to help the innovators, the radical people, and help seed funding, the ideas. Don't try and do it yourself, be one farmer, and have they got the radical ideas, and how they're going to fund it, and what's the probability of success. Am I answering the question right? Giving a farmer £1, well, just go for it if you think it's going to work. Spend your money, try and do something radical, but it does take time, as you've seen, some of these, and it does take money.
And if I take the bottom question here, which is in some ways related, that given that in agri-food the time for product development is typically so long, why is it so difficult for companies to take the leap of faith with radical and disruptive innovation?
I would love to know the answer.
Anybody know the answer?
It's ridiculous. And you're operating in a white space. And I always thought, you know, people come with their stretch targets, and you think even if you don't achieve that, you're still achieving a huge amount with that money, but they've always actually over-delivered. They've been conservative. It pays, you're in white space, no competition, you'll at least learn from it, you'll always deliver something, compared to just trying to do the same thing, come up with another app that everyone's doing, and you watch it all, and it's just pathetic, you're all competing in the same space. Here you're not. So why don't they do it? I'd love to know the answer, and that's partly my talk. Everyone in every organisation should have a game changer, even if it's one individual who's a radical, you know, renegade. Just help them, don't fire them, and just give them money and nurture them and let them come up with something creative. So everyone should do it.
Okay. And there's a particular question about the programme. How long did it take to secure internal buy-in and funding to launch the programme? We're particularly interested in that, Rothamsted.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Okay, we were lucky. GameChanger goes back 20 years. Gary, one very courageous leader in the company, said, you know, I'm going to start a GameChanger. And he then, really courageous, he got Gary Hamill in. I don't know if you know, he started all this Six Sigma or whatever. He got Gary Hamill in. It was basically bring Silicon Valley inside. There's a lovely paper, if people want it, I'll give you the reference to it. So just create a little bit of little island, you know, like bring, this is a bit of Silicon Valley, this part of the office. And he had the balls and the courage to just give 20 million, recruit, maybe it was 5 or 10 people then, and just do it. So there was one leader who managed to set it up. So you can just do it, you can do it, he did it overnight. And it only made really one change. The first 2 to 3 years, it took ideas internally, and then it took them from externally. But the basic model, and it didn't change. So, if answering the question, how long did it take? Well, it took overnight. Almost got Gary Hamill in to help set it out. And buy-in, well, you just need it from senior management, really, and you can just launch it. So it can be very quick.
Okay, I'll take 2 more questions slightly, and then I'll just take one from the floor. So, if I get ask Toby's question first from Rothamsted. How to convince sponsors to fund high-risk, high-reward activity? Okay,
I've been trying to come up with the equation all the time, or whatever, and I haven't. It isn't there. You can start probability of success and this and times the reward. So all I've realised is you can give examples. Hence, my talk now, I've given actual practical examples. Yes, from one person with an idea, and look what it's turned into. That one which I showed you, the solar panel system, the company now has really grown. They're doing supermarket shelves and saving 30% of the energy, where it's using heat pipes to zap the heat away, and it's so efficient. So, yes, it's difficult. It really is. You've got to go. They've got to have, you know, a bit of leap and faith and whatever. The figures are there. You see companies like Google or whatever, they give this read Daniel Pink, the book, they give people a bit of, they call it non-commissioned space every other Friday afternoon. Work on what you want. It still belongs to the company, but do what you want. And they see at the end, 80% of the value of that company comes from that little time when people are given freedom. So all I can really say, look at it, look at works, see examples, see what I did in just 6 years. And that's what I showed you, is a fraction of what I think I delivered. So I think really just show examples. Really, there isn't a magic equation.
Okay, and then we'll just take the question, are innovators born or can they be made and fostered in organisations?
Wow, I love that. That's a good one over dinner in a long time. But no, when I'm there in Montana and I asked them that, I think, to be honest with you, it's a bit of both. You definitely need the space. People have it in them. They need to feel comfortable. They can stick their neck over the parapet. So I think you obviously can create it if you give the right environment. That's partly what GameChanger did. I also think it's born with, I've asked them, myself, I'd build huge tree houses and do the tunnels, things you'd never get away with HSE now or whatever. And maybe it's a bit of scarcity when you were young or you didn't have the toys, so you had to make it up yourself. I'm a bit young about the youth today when it's all on games, everything's done for people. So I think answering that, it's a bit of both.
Okay. I'll just take one question from the floor, but if there isn't, then we will thank Michael very much for his time. So thank you very much.